Yo, welcome back to another episode of Wake Up with Wops. If you clicked on this video because of the thumbnail or the title, I'll just tell you straight up what my trading journal has taught me. And it is that if you hold, you are going to become rich. These are for my people that might not trade because for traders, we have to sell. That's how we pay our bills. But if you have a 9 to 5 job or you have a different job and you want to do stocks on the side, just simply buying the right stocks and holding is going to get you rich. Let's go over my journal. As a trader, I like to journal all my trades. I'm a new trader, just started trading a couple months ago, but I quit my job to do it full time, and I've recorded every trade since then. So I've made a lot of mistakes, but that's how I learned from it. My success rate is 31 wins, 21 losses out of a total of 52 trades. My win rate is around 59%. Win rate is not so important. I know that's weird of me saying, but I've seen traders with 30% win rates actually be profitable. That's because they probably go on 4-to-1 risk to reward trades or maybe 3-to-1. So when they do win, they win big. Now let's go over the best trades that I've done. It's about like 15 of them. Starting off with Robin Hood. I entered over here around 52 bucks because I saw a little flag form. You had the 9 EMA curling up, and then I exited up here. But look where it's at right now. So I bought it around 50 bucks. We could say we sold it around 70 bucks, right? Now we are at 148. If you would have just bought when I bought, went to work, and just had a good day, took your girlfriend out, you would be sitting pretty right now. Look at that. Rocket Lab, another one. Entered here because I was anticipating a breakout of this little range right here. So I saw that happening, so I entered thinking that it was going to break out. The next day it broke out, and my excited ass sold the next day. I don't know why. Don't tell me. This was one of the first trades I've done. I don't know. But anyways, got in, sold the next day when it was up, and look where it's at right now. We bought this around $26, guys. Right now it is at 56. Could have just bought and hold. Ota, beautiful play off their earnings, pull back to the 9 EMA. We entered right there in this candle and we exited up here. At the moment, it looked like a smart play because look, we took profits and then it dipped down all the way over here. But when you zoom out, it was not. We could have just kept holding. At the end of the day, I'm a swing trader. I have to sell to pay the bills. But if you just buy and hold, look at that. We bought around 450, now we're at 550, 100 bucks move. And then if you would have entered and put a stop loss right under the candle, you would have never gotten stopped out. Because it did dip, but then it bounced right there and then continued going on a massive run. Next, Amazon. We entered here after the pullback had earnings, pullback to the 9 EMA. You guys know we love that setup. Entered, it actually dipped down a little bit more, but we had a looser stop on this trade. Ended up exiting over here. So we bought at 204, exited around 222, 223. Ended up going for a nice ride all the way to 230s. Still a good trade. We caught that move up, but we missed this move here. But now we are back low. So holding would not have been optimal for this, but this is Amazon, guys. Amazon's going to continue going higher. So if you kept holding for a couple more months, I wouldn't be surprised. We actually entered into a trade recently. Go check out my previous video that I think we're going to go back to this top of the range. Palantir, look at this move. Entered into PLTR right there, Palantir at the remount of the 20 SMA and the 9 EMA. I saw that happening, entered into that, ended up exiting a couple days later when it went up. But it went for a ride all the way to top. And then if we'd have entered and hold and kept our stop loss down here, we'd have never gotten stopped out. Yes, we have an ugly candle on Friday, but still above the moving averages. Look at that support at the 50-day average. So I'm not too worried. This stock's going to continue going up. I'm telling you, buy, hold, go to work. Get that 9 to 5 paycheck and get money on the side. So AMD pulled back to the 9 EMA after some gap up. Hammer candle, entered it. I loved it. Sold at the top. Ended up being a really good trade because then it pulled back down up, and then now we're back into AMD recently when it remounted this 50-day average. We anticipated that move, so this was perfect. Nothing to really learn from this trade, but buy and hold, guys. Buy and hold. You'd have bought here, put the stop under this range. You almost would have gotten stopped out when it pulled back because of some news related stuff, but now we're looking hot above the moving averages. I'm gonna continue holding for this. We're in a stock for that. Toll, we've been in this entry here because we thought it was breaking out of a little bottom, or it did break out of a bottom right here. So we wanted to do a continuation. There was like a little flag that was breaking out. Actually pulled back, almost got stopped out with this red candle. We did not get stopped out, and then from there it kept riding. We exited when it crossed over the 200 SMA just because earnings was coming up. But it's looking good right now. Again, remounting the moving averages. I could enter into a toll trade right now. Road, beautiful. Earnings gap up, pulled back to the 9 EMA, even went deeper to the 50-day average, held support. We entered, sold at the top. Beautiful trade. It's at 125 now. We entered around 110. So if we kept holding, we would still be up. UWMC, finance, mortgage lending, broke out of this little bottom here. So then when it started consolidating and pulling back, I entered off the 9 EMA, and then we entered around 550, sold around 650, made $1 on each share. But look, it went for a nice little ride, but I'm not worried because look, it went back down and now it's doing a deep pullback. I'll probably be interested again if it reaches this 550 level where we first entered around here. R entered right there off the breakout, same concept, broke out of a bottom, pulled back to the 9 EMA, so I entered and then I exited here. So bought around 23 bucks, sold around 28, and now we're at 31. Apple, we did a back-to-back trade on this, beautiful. Pulled back to the 9 EMA, we entered off one of these candles, exited at the top, ended up pulling back. We had this support zone laid out, remounted the 9-day average, we entered again, sold at the top, but now it's looking beautiful. It's looking like a nice run for all-time highs. So you could have just bought back here and again here, let it ride. Apple's an amazing company. It's going to continue going higher as long as we live. Tesla, this one was a tough one. I remember entered here because we wanted to play to the top of the range. So this trade was beautiful. It ended up playing out. We almost got stopped out with this candle. It was a very stressful time, but we did not get stopped out and it looked beautiful. I sold when it broke here, but it ended up going for a nice run. We bought this around 320s and now it is at 430. Oklo, man, sold way too early on this. This is my fault. This is why trading and having a trade journal is so important, because this time I could have made a real good money, real good cheddar cheese if I could have just entered here when it remounted the 9-day average. Then it pulled back to the 50-day average. I had a loose stop on Oklo because it's a very volatile stock, but it held the 50-day average and then kept going higher. I sold at the top of this resistance thinking that it was going to pull back, and it ended up just ripping. We got in around 69 bucks, 70 bucks, and now it is 127, and it hit a high of 143. So lastly, Labu, coming out of this bottom, we entered when it broke out, actually pulled back. We almost got stopped out of this, but we had a loose stop because it's a 3x leveraged ETF. It follows the biotech sector. It held the 50-day average, this yellow line, and then we ended up exiting when it hit this 200-day average, which I thought was going to be resistance, and look where it's at right now. We're at a 103. We entered around 60. That's journaling your trades, keeping track of every trade you do, keeping a notebook. We call it a journal. And just showing you guys that maybe you have jobs and you're checking out this video. Keep working. Just do this on the side. Listen to my videos. Do your own due diligence. Buy when I buy. And then most likely you could hold. Always when you buy, keep a stop loss just in case, because I can't tell the future. If we start crashing, you need to have that stop loss to protect you, your wealth, protect your portfolio. Again, non-financial advice. do your own due diligence. Peace.